Hi Sarah, this is George Sherritt. I just finished your home inspection and I'm going to do a review here for you. Turn this light on. Okay, a little less glare. The siding has peeling paint in a few places. It's not real bad, but at some point you're going to want to scrape the loose paint and prime the shingles and repaint where needed. Same thing here. Same thing on this rafter here. There's the deck out back. The deck boards would benefit from some kind of stain put on them. It would kind of help even out the way they look as well, and it would also protect the wood. The roof, I think the north side of the roof is newer than the south side, so that would be the right side being newer than the left side if you're out in the street looking at it. There's moss on the roof, especially on the left side, and there's quite a lot of shingles that stick up out of the plane of the roof. We'll come back to that. It's also a lot of worn shingles and a few damaged shingles, so I'm going to recommend you have a licensed roofer come out and evaluate the roof.
Pause. She said all the electrical's been done. Can you show us, well, I guess, can we get an electrician to show us evidence of that? Because that's a big deal.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been done.
I'm on the phone with her right now.
Okay.
She said the entire house has been done.
Yeah, but it's knob and tube in the attic that's hot, covered with
Is
insulation.
it hot?
Yeah.
George says it's hot. And then it's covered with asbestos insulation. He said, what, the knob and tube, let me explain it to you.
I'm sorry, I got really sidetracked there. So this is on the left-hand side, the south side. There's a lot of shingles that are stuck up for some reason, and there could be nails that are pushed up, but it makes them very susceptible to wind. The wind can get into there and tear them off. There's more. This is on the north side. You can see it's really different. I think that's been replaced more recently. This is on the back roof behind the house. Shingles are very worn. A lot of the aggregate's worn away. There's a couple damaged shingles. Same thing here. Somebody's probably pressure washed the roof, and that's the damage that results from that. And there's moss on the roof. Here's the hot water heater. It's all good. It's basically 5 months old. The pipe off here, this is from the temperature pressure release valve, needs to terminate in what we call conspicuous location. So if that valve is discharging, you know that. So it needs to be taken to the outside. Electrical issues were my biggest concern for the whole house. Most of the outlets in the house are ungrounded. There's a couple grounded ones here and there. This outlet has reverse polarity, which means the hot and the neutral are reversed. So have a licensed electrician fix that. It's also ungrounded. This outlet is ungrounded. There's a lack of outlets in the kitchen. This whole side of the kitchen has no electrical outlets. You might want to have some added. This is another example of an ungrounded outlet. Actually, that was a false ground. So, yeah, this outlet right here has a false ground. It should be corrected by a licensed electrician. That's where it is. The stove doesn't have its anti-tipping device installed, so I recommend that be done. It's a nice safety feature. There's the fan. It took me a little while, but I found the switch for that on the wall, and it worked fine. This outlet's ungrounded. There's some damaged bricks in the firebox of the fireplace, so I'd recommend you have it inspected by a licensed chimney mason contractor. And there's no damper, so that's going to allow cold air in the house. So I'd recommend a damper be installed. This outlet's another ungrounded outlet. There's a carbon monoxide alarm like the state requires there to be. This is in the middle bedroom. The switch for the ceiling light is faulty. 2 out of 3 times I'd turn it on, the light wouldn't come on, and then suddenly it would just come on a few seconds later. So there must be a short or something inside the switch. Have a licensed electrician check that and replace that switch. The filter for the ductless heat pump is in the return air in the hallway, and it's very dirty, so I'd recommend it be replaced. Here's another carbon monoxide alarm in the hall. This is in the bathroom. Obviously that outlet's ungrounded. It's a 2-prong outlet. This is another ungrounded outlet. This is right above the sink. It's also not a GFCI outlet, so I'd recommend this outlet be GFCI protected. This is a GFCI that's ungrounded, and that's actually considered an acceptable, improvement to take an ungrounded outlet and put a GFCI on it. But it wouldn't trip. Even manually, I couldn't. There's a test button and a reset button, and I couldn't get it to trip, so it seems like that's faulty. Have a licensed electrician evaluate that and repair it, most likely, or replace it, most likely. There are a couple open splices in the attic. We have knob and tube wiring here that they've spliced into some snakeskin wiring, which was like the next generation of wire before we had Romex. This goes up the wall here and out to an outside light, so have a licensed electrician address that. There's 2 types of insulation in the attic. The original insulation, or what's underneath the fiberglass, is called vermiculite, and it all came from a mine in Libby, Montana. It's the only place it came from around here, and it has asbestos in it. So there's a federal program, it's a grant program that pays for 50% of the removal of vermiculite should someone decide to do that. I'll give you a link for that. And then, unfortunately, there is a lot of hot knob and tube wiring in the attic, and they've insulated over top of it. The knob and tube probably sat above the vermiculite because they only would typically put down 3 inches or so. And the problem with putting fiberglass insulation over top of knob and tube wiring is one of the good things about knob and tube was it was out in the air, out in the open, and so if there was a problem and a wire was starting to heat up, that heat would often just be dispersed. But then when you bury it in insulation, that heat builds up and it can become a fire safety issue. So unfortunately, the solution for that is to have someone remove all the insulation and then have an electrician come in and replace the knob and tube and then re-insulate. There's more vermiculite underneath the fiberglass. This is also up in the attic. That's the permit for the ductless heat pump that they pulled in August of 2018, so that tells me it's very new. This is the little attic above the back porch area, and there's no insulation here, so it would increase the comfort back there if somebody insulated that part of the attic. Under the house, I had a brief conversation with the listing agent about something else, the attic access. But she told me that a lot of work had been done under the house, and it has. It used to be very, very narrow down there, and so someone went in and dug a series of kind of trenches so that you can get to different places, but it still doesn't allow access to everything. So it's a bit of an incomplete inspection under the house. I did look at all the work that had been done. It was done in a professional way, it looked great. All the beams and joists that I were able to get to and see, I carried kind of a miner's pick and a tap on the wood. It was all solid, no wood rot, no pest damage. However, like I said, there are places I wasn't able to get to. Here's my flashlight looking back in this area back here, and it's just, I can't fit back in there. So ideally, they should have dug the whole thing out rather than a series of trenches, but it's a great improvement over probably what it was like. I've never seen this before. This is kind of an unusual, we know this is a 99-year-old house. This is the concrete foundation, and they've poured it around some vertical lumber posts to support this beam here. And it's just, I just took a picture of it because I'd never seen it before. Concrete's kind of porous and can hold moisture, so there's the potential for this wood to decay over time. But it's been here for 99 years and it still looks good, so I don't think it's really a problem. And it would be, what are you going to do about it? So I'm just pointing it out because I've never seen that before. And then we're back out front. If you have any questions after this, feel free to give me a call. Thanks.